Hey guys, welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to be doing a starter replacement on my BMW E90. It is going to be one hell of a job. Hope you enjoy it. So after a fair few subscribers telling me that my starter's on the way out on my exhaust video, went out and bought a new Bosch starter, bought the new bolts and gaskets from BMW. So from my understanding, you'll also need female torque sockets, which I bought off eBay. You'll also need some regular torque sockets and just a regular socket set. This should be a bit of a difficult job, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. So the first step of this monstrous job, you need to take the snorkel and airbox off just like the oil filter housing gasket. Then we'll need to take off the engine cover, the intake, the power steering reservoir, and then that'll give us access to the starter, which is right behind this whole manifold here. So first you have this bolt and this bolt here, they're both T20, so you need to remove those. We'll next want to remove the airbox. You'll need a 10mm socket to remove these two bolts here. You want to also remove that mass airflow sensor. Just like in the oil filter housing gasket video, you'll see that little metal band clip behind the airbox. You need to remove that to actually get the airbox out. Once you remove those two little items, the airbox should just come straight out. Now it's time to remove this whole black plastic shroud. So you first want to start with that screw there. There's a total of 6 of them and they're an 8mm nut.
Only 'cause we never say what we think, waiting for the perfect way. Time zone speak, got me on delay, 'cause I crossed a million seas. Would you do that for me?
And that'll get the air filter out. The next thing you want to remove is this little plastic wiring loom. You just pull forward, that comes. You'll then also want to remove this tube, which just pulls out from underneath the tray and just rests it on top of the engine. So the next step will be removing this black plastic cowl. So you've got a little plastic shield there, followed by a clip here and a clip on the other side, and this whole cowl will just lift up. So to remove these little plastic shields, you'll have a little clip in there and one on the other side that you click out and this whole shield comes off. And there's also 2 8mm bolts, one in the corner here and then one on the other side to remove this little cowl.
Just to have you next to me, Paris and Tokyo, I go where I have to go. Screw geography, but would you do that for me?
Next step is you want to grab a T40 and take off this engine cover. Alrighty, now that we've taken off the whole engine cover, we have exposed all the bolts to the intake. There are a handful of 11mm bolts and nuts here. You'll also need to remove this oil pressure sensor right here.
Why do I feel like I linger? Linger between the words to say the words to remember. Now we're here to take control over your body and over your soul.
So the next step you'll need to do is remove the power steering reservoir. So you've got 2 10mm bolts, remove those and just sort of move it to the side, which will give you access to take the intake off. We have found the offending part in my car. That little part down there has crippled a $100,000 car. Before we forget, also want to remove the positive battery terminal so we don't electrocute ourselves when removing the starter. So you'll need to use a 10mm socket and you'll just want to stick the positive terminal just on top of microfiber so it doesn't contact any of the battery. Now that we've actually managed to expose the starter, we want to remove that first top red lead with a 13mm socket, followed by an extension on a ratchet. So once you've taken that top bolt off, you want to then take the connector off next. So it's exactly like the oil filter pressure sensor. You sort of click that little metal clip in and it'll just slide off. So you finally managed to get a little spanner in down the bottom. We're just going to undo that bolt. Then the next bolt is behind the manifold. What a bitch of a bolt. We got the bottom one out. Now time to get the top one.
I know, but even that's too fucking big.
The second bolt is out. What an absolute joke of a design. What do you think of BMW?
What? It's fucking hot. Oh, Jesus.
And we finally have the joke of a starter out of this shit car. One thing before you install your brand new starter, you'll need a set of new bolts straight from BMW. Whatever reason they made it, you got to replace the bolt. So our brand new starter's in there. Now it's time to do the long back bolt from behind the manifold. Now it's time to install the lower bottom bolt. Also, another little thing I did, there is a ground wire there that is attached right there. Now I needed to remove that to actually get the starter out. So the brand new starter's now being put in. Now we are just doing all the little bolts up. Rex is screwing in a bolt for me. The next thing to replace is all the intake manifold gaskets on each little cylinder. So we've got 6 of those from BMW. Once that's done, manifold goes back on, drop some bolts here. This shit job is finally finished. Now that we've got most of the actual engine components back in the car, we've only got the actual cowl and the cabin air filter. We're gonna reconnect the battery and give it a start, and hopefully we did everything correct. If not, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. So, fingers crossed. Pray, please. We got power. Ready?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, babe. Success! Didn't fuck it up.
This time.
This time. There will be a chance when I fuck something up. Well, there you go, guys. That's how you install a BMW Bosch starter. I really appreciate the 103 of you that watch my videos each and every week. Hopefully next week my exhaust cutout from eBay will arrive, so this car will become even louder. And yeah, thanks for watching.